All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Day 24 of the Vegan 300. We're 7.2% complete after today to get to 100,000 reps. I'm going to say it's a lot warmer than yesterday. And when I say a lot, let's take a look at Cascade here. It's 10 degrees outside. We're 20 degrees inside. If you remember, yesterday it was 14 degrees. In the garage, and it was negative 14, ended up being negative 16 outside. So my toes started getting cold. I did have these heated gloves on, which I'm going to use again today because it's not much warmer in here. But we'll take it. It says 19 now, 19 degrees, so 6 degrees warmer. I did order some toe warmers, some neoprene toe warmers. I didn't want to do the heated socks. They were pretty expensive, so we're going to start with the neoprene toe warmers that got some good reviews. So they'll come in, and if it's this cold again, we'll give those a shot. But we're doing 300 reps as usual. The Vegan 300. It's 3 reps or 3 movements in 1 repetition. That's where we get to 300. We're raising awareness for the animals to make everyone understand or have the knowledge of the average person eats 300 pounds of meat of animals every single year. And you could be strong, fit, and healthy without eating any pounds or any animals or their products whatsoever. So we're day 24 out here showing you that it can be done. And you don't have to take my word for it, but you can watch me. You do the research yourself. That's what I encourage you to do. Look at my breath. It's cold out here. It's a lot later than usual. It's Sunday, January 25th, 10:50 in the morning. So we definitely not only slept in, but we gave the morning, and certainly different working out here at this time than 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But we're in Michigan, and so it's just another Sunday. I will say that I did want to kind of take the day off today, but again, I would feel like out of sequence, out of my routine if I did take the day off. And I feel good. I am going to drop down. Yesterday we did 35-pound dumbbells on the coldest day of the year. Probably, I think it tied some record in Michigan and Grand Rapids. So thought that was pretty cool that we ended up doing the heaviest that we've ever done here for the 300 reps with 35-pound dumbbells. But I'm going to drop it back down to 20-pound dumbbells. So this is just going to be a nice, easy, I'm going to say just get through it. I'm going to say rest day. We're not going to try to break any records here, but we're just going to try to get through it. I got my gloves on. My toes are starting to get cold, so I think we're going to get through this one. I was over the 30 minutes yesterday, and I don't anticipate that happening again today. So we're going to chip through it. But before that, I'm going to answer this comment here. And I thought Justless Clartex. Okay, and this isn't the first comment that he made, but I asked him to see if he would do a live discussion because I felt like this is a unique perspective, and I would love to explore more of his response, but I didn't want to bring this up. So Justless Clartex, if you're out there again, I would love to have a discussion with you. He said his English isn't his native language, so he's from another country. I'm not sure where he lives, but he's definitely different school of thought, and I think many of you maybe share his his thought process. So I'm going to go ahead and respond to it right here. So I asked him if animals, do they think does he think that they feel pain when they're killed or suffer? And his response is it always depends on the method, of course. So there are cruel ways to kill and there are less cruel ways to kill. He prefers the less cruel ways. So I think right then and there, I think if you prefer the less cruel ways to kill animals, the ultimate of that, or I don't know the word I'm looking for, but the ultimate of less, or if you keep going further and if you want less cruel ways, Why not no cruel ways, meaning don't kill the animals at all? I think that would be the best course of action because, again, what we know is it's unnecessary to kill these animals for food in the first place. So why even have to choose a most cruel way or less cruel way? Why wouldn't we just choose no cruel way, which is no killing at all? So that's kind of my stance with this. It's not necessary. Of course, if it is necessary, we want less cruel ways. It's almost like, if your dog's dying and we went through this, but we had our dog euthanized in a pleasant, less cruel way. We certainly didn't, shoot her with a bolt gun or slice their neck open, or that seems, or I mean is a cruel way to kill an animal. Now, this was to put out of her misery, which means she was suffering, and we don't want the animals to suffer. I mean, that's our mindset. I don't think anyone wants animals to suffer, and this is where people say, oh, one shot kill. They don't feel a thing. They're just, one second they're living, and then the next second they, lights out. But looking at that, especially if an animal doesn't need to die, that seems pretty cruel. It seems like a very cruel way. I mean, even people murdering people, you can say that, if you walk up to someone in the back of the head when they're walking on the street and shoot them, and then the lights go out, we wouldn't applaud that be a good way to die, or that's a good thing that happened, because that individual didn't need to die. And in this situation, the animals don't need to die at all. So why choose any cruel way if we do understand and we're acknowledging and basically accepting the fact that killing animals is cruel? So of course we'll choose the less cruel way, but why not choose no cruel way? All right, then the second part of his comment here is, where does the value of life come from that tells you that it's so valuable to not kill animals, to use it as a resource like nature does all the time? Okay, I would say that, again, we're valuing the life based on the resource, and then we're using that animal. Again, the whole vegan principle is not to exploit the animal for our personal use or our gain, whether it be taste, pleasure, or money. So right then and there, hey, good morning, day 24 here. I'm responding to this comment of Justless Clartex, and you can read it here in the on the side. But where does the value of life come from that tells you that it's so valuable to not kill an animal, to use it as a resource like nature does all the time? Again, if we're talking about food, we're not in nature. We are not in nature in survival mode. And of course, if we were in nature and survival mode, we absolutely would, I'm going to say, in order for us to survive, is take another animal's life in the less cruel way as possible. I would agree with this. I would even have to do it myself, even though I wouldn't like it. I would have to do this to feed my family, and I think that is justified, morally speaking, because I am using, or I need to eat food to survive, so I need to kill an animal. I mean, I would look for plants first, but if there were no plant options and there was animals, I would likely have to and make the decision to kill the animal and then cook the animal for food to feed my family and for us to survive. So we are not in nature, though, in this situation. It's 2026. Justless Clartex, you, me, and everyone else watching this, we're not in survival situation. We are not hunting for survival for food. And then talk about the value of life come from. Where does the value of life come from that tells you that it's so valuable to not kill animals? So the value, and it's not how I value the animal. It's not how other people value the animal. It's how the animal values themselves. And we can induce this, or we can deduce this from the fact that we care about our lives. We care about what happens to us, and our lives matter to us. Similarly, that we can understand and understand that the animals value their life to the point where it shouldn't matter if we value their life in order to produce money or taste or pleasure, but the animal values their life. So it's valuable in a sense to them, just like it's valuable and you care what happens to you and your life matters to you, their life matters to them. And that's all that should matter. So it's the most valuable thing that they have is their life. It's the one life that we're all given. And then that animal was given their life. And what happens to them matters to them. So that's what's so valuable. And it's not about how I value. I mean, you can go out and hate animals. You can go out and dislike animals and for what they're doing or how they look. But that animal values their life themselves, and what happens to them matters to them. So it's not about how I value them or how I look at them or how anyone else looks at them. And again, this isn't nature. We're not in nature. Of course, they are the most valuable thing in a survival situation because you're going to have to kill them to make you survive, to help you survive. And yes, if it comes down to it, I mean, that's what it's going to take. And then we'll have to make that choice. I mean, I'm sure there's people who'd be like, oh, absolutely not. I'd rather starve to death than take an animal's life. But the majority of us would absolutely kill and harm an animal in the less cruel way as possible to be able to survive ourselves. But we're not in that situation. Nobody here watching this is in that situation. Everyone justifies what they're doing and saying, oh, it happens in nature. Oh, but I'm using it for food. But the fact of the matter is, you don't have to. You don't have to one bit. So again, the value of the life comes from how we value our lives, and we're sentient beings. And so we can conclude that the animals value their life just as much as we value our life. All right, so that's my response to Justless Clartex, and I'm hoping he comes on and has a discussion because there's some other comments before this and after this that I'd love to get into. So also, if you're watching this and you'd like to come on and have a discussion with me, please send me an email. The link is in the description, or my email's in the description. Or feel free to come on, and I'm ready when you are. If you click the link, you'll come on. I'll bring you on the channel and we can discuss. You can even do it during this workout because I got nowhere to be, and I'd be happy to talk to you, bring you on, and we can have a good discussion. Whether you're vegan or not, doesn't matter. I thought it'd be a good discussion. I'm hoping that you're not vegan, and hoping that you have some questions for me. And then I'm a question for you is why you continue to eat animals when you don't have to. So, all right, let me get after this workout. We're going down to 20 pounds again yesterday, the coldest day in Michigan's history, and negative 16, I think I had. So my toes were freezing. They're starting to get numb now. And, but yeah, 14 degrees in the garage yesterday. Right now it's 20. So it's a lot better than it was yesterday. So, all right, day 24. Let's get after this. If you got any comments, drop them. Ooh, my legs. I was in that position for far too long. If you got any comments, let me know. Drop them. I'll post them. I'll respond to them. And we'll go from there. All right. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Some big playoff games today. Hey, by the way, did you all see that guy climb that building yesterday? Alex climbed a building in Taiwan. Taipei 1. It's like the tallest building, one of the tallest buildings ever. That was crazy. Super stressful to watch him climb that building. And I didn't watch it all, but he made it to the top. No harness, no ropes, no nothing. Crazy. And then he was like waving to the crowd. It was nuts. Absolutely nuts. So we won't be doing that, but mad props to him, and that's pretty crazy. All right. All right, 11 o'clock right now. Here we go. We're about to do this. I already drank one of these, half a gallon. All right, good morning. Good morning to you. If you got any comments, let me know. Drop them. drop the comment. I'll post them. I'll respond to them. If you got any questions, let me know. And if you're willing to have a discussion, come on. Click the link in the description. I'll bring you on. I'll talk to you while I'm working out. All right. Here we go. Let's do it. 20 pounds. So again, a little lighter than yesterday. Man, these gloves don't let me do that. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, already got a comment. One. I'm gonna go read it in a second. 2. 3. 4. 5. Let me do these 10. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Steve, what's up, man? All right, cool. Yeah, I'd be willing to chat again, Steve. You got some, maybe you thought about some of the stuff I said, or you got some questions, some good discussion topics. So I'd be willing to do that for sure. So I appreciate that. Yeah, we could do that today too, if you want. After, I could go on live after this. I'll bring my computer down. And then I'll jump on, and if that works for you, you can click and come on the same way you did last time. So I appreciate that. I was looking for a word earlier. It's absolute, like the absolute. I mean, if you talk about less cruel ways to kill an animal, you know, how about not killing an animal at all? I think that's what I want to get. Absolute. I said the ultimate. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 7, 8, 9, 10. Thanks, Steve. Dropped. Okay. That's no problem, Steve. Yeah, just let me know when or whenever. I appreciate it though. Yeah, man, I'd like to do that. You're a good dude. Yeah, not trying to convince, not trying to, just trying to understand further. And I want to get people to think differently about what they're doing, or, what they have been doing for the majority of their life. Because if you never questioned it, most people haven't. And if people do question it, it's not for very long, and nor do you have discussions or some in-depth conversations with people that are questioning it or that have questioned it and that were sitting on your side for the majority of their life. And that's me. So I ate animals for over 30 years. I didn't know one vegan. Not one vegan. I didn't know what vegan was. Didn't know anything. Just thought it was normal and necessary. I never really even thought about it. Everybody else is doing it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, another word I was looking for is infer. I said deduce. I think it's the same thing, but if you observe animals like your dog, and I know Steve would agree with this, but we know that they're having an experience. It may not be the same as ours, but we know that they're having an experience. And we can infer that they care about what happens to them. And they do not like to be, hit or cause pain, because they'll whimper, they'll yelp, like just like we would. We say, ow, they yelp. I remember cutting our dog's nails. Get too close, she yelped. I mean, it certainly hurt. There's no doubt in my mind that it hurt. It startled her, and definitely she did not like it. So we know that. It'd be foolish of us not to understand that or look past that. We know that they care about what happens to them, and they don't want to be hurt, just like we don't want to be hurt. So, and we value our life, and why wouldn't they value their life too? It just makes sense. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And back to Justless Clartex. Talk about he prefers the less cruel way to kill an animal. So if I ask you, would you want to be like a bad person or a very bad person? Would you rather? Would you rather do something really wrong or just a little bit wrong? Or do you say you don't want to do nothing wrong at all? Which is, you got that option. It's crazy to me that if you can't truly believe that it's necessary to kill an animal. It's not necessary. The only time it'd be necessary, again, if you're defending yourself, or 4 rounds through, or like our dog was suffering. And I mean, sure, we didn't have to. It's not necessary. But man, we don't want to be suffering, and we see ourselves and we can empathize with the animal. We kind of know what they're going through. 1. We'd be foolish if we didn't think that. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Also, I think Justless Clartex, he said he has no moral issue with what happens to the animals. It's like, I mean, you got to have some moral baseline of like right and wrong. And, again, by him saying that you have more cruel ways or less cruel ways, I mean, look at the definition of cruel. Why would you want to contribute to being cruel at all? Nobody wants to be cruel. Nobody wants others to go through cruel things. Like cruel punishments. Like nobody wants that. You could say, oh, if they deserve it. But again, we're talking to animals They don't deserve to be any, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. And again, I keep reiterating this, it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. It's just what we're used to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you don't have to like animals, or you don't have to be, care what happens to them. But understand, and we know enough that they care what happens to them. And it should not be about us. Like, I mean, put it in this perspective, right? You see someone in a nice car, like Grand Theft Auto style, and you're like, hey, I want that car. And you open the car up, you pull their hair, you rip them out of their car, kick them in the face, and then you take their car. It's like, I mean, do you think that that's right? Do you think that's a good thing to do? Even though you don't care about them, you don't even know them. You like driving that car. You want that car, so you say it's mine. I want that car, so I'm gonna take that car. But they care about what happens to them. So, and we know that that's wrong. We know that we can't do that, even though nobody has to make a law about stealing and say you can't steal another person's property. We don't need a law to tell us that. Shit, I don't know. What is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we don't need a law to tell us that that's not a moral thing. And legality doesn't equate to morality, right? We got our own morals. And even though, again, you might not have a moral issue with them being killed, but you do. I think every one of us And even Justice Clark-Tex, he even understands that he doesn't want to be cruel to the animals. He'd like to kill them or prefer to kill them in a less cruel way. But why? Where does that come from? If you had no morals, you wouldn't care. So there's something there. There's something there that lets him know that, like, we don't want bad things, cruel things to happen to the animals. So maybe in the other situation, he'd be like, well, if I just threatened him and to get out of the car and I didn't have to kill them or hurt them or kick them and beat them up and make them feel pain and suffer, maybe that's a better option. Wouldn't you agree? Or you don't do it at all. There's one. What's the best option? 2. That seems to be the best option, not to do it at all. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Now, we can argue that we all don't need a car, so it's not necessary to drive a car for us to survive, but we do need to eat. We do know that we need to eat in order to survive. Now, talk about a more cruel, a less cruel, or no cruelty. Would anyone logic person say that we're being cruel to plants by ripping them out of the ground and chopping them up? Is that like, does any normal person would say that that makes sense? That we're being cruel to that carrot or that tofu? That's cruel. No, nobody would say that. Now there's people that say that, but they are super uncomfortable with the idea of them contributing to animal suffering and killing when they don't have to. Super uncomfortable. And that's a whole different conversation, but we understand the difference between plants and animals. We understand that plants are not sentient. They don't have an experience. They cannot feel pain. They don't have a central nervous system. We know that. And if you don't know that, you need to do the research. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8, 9, 10. We could also say that, listen, we wouldn't want that done to us. So why are we doing that to others? Would you want to be killed in a more cruel way, a less cruel way, or not killed at all? And I think, again, us logical people, we want to live. We have this instinctual will to live. You know, not talking about depression or other things that, you know, which is a real thing. But the majority of us, if we're happy, we don't want to die. And we can infer that the animals don't want to die either. And they don't want to feel pain and they don't want to suffer. So again, if we don't want it done to us, why are we doing it to others? Why are we doing it to them? They are not objects. It's not like this table here. Like I hit this rowing machine, or that rowing machine didn't feel pain. That rowing machine, these weights, could throw these weights on the ground, grabbing them, squeezing them. They're not feeling that. They don't get hurt. They don't whimper. They don't suffer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. 10. Y'all can't believe this, but this is it. Yeah, this is the last round. This is my 10th round. Look at that. Talking, I don't even realize it. There it is. 28. Call it 28. 28, 28. And we're done. 10 rounds through. Look at that. I didn't even realize how fast that went. I was talking through it. I was trying to respond to the comments there. I think I was talking to Steve for a little bit, but we're still under 30 minutes. A set of 20-pound dumbbells. Heart rate's good. Heart rate's up. Like I say, my back was a little sore from yesterday. We did the 35-pound dumbbells, which again is much different. It feels much different than the 20s for sure. But My back was a little tight. And so, you know, just like a nice, easy Sunday recovery session, felt really good. And I like that I was able to kind of talk through, respond, and still be under 30 minutes. So we're not out here struggling. The one thing I do have, it's hard for me to do is count, and I lose track of my repetitions. So, but that's minor, 20 pounds here. So 20 degrees still in here. Oh, I know. What else I want to bring up? I said, there's a famous comment. I'm not sure who said it, but it talks about like, I think, therefore I am. So we know that the animals all think. We know that. We know that dogs, rabbits, squirrels, birds, chipmunks, they all think. They all have a central nervous system. They have a brain. They think. And therefore, they am, like they are. And so I am, like there's someone, there's someone behind and inside that animal. Whereas like this water bottle, this is not an animal, it's an object. But yet we consider animals, the animals that we slaughter for food, like they're literally property, they're objects. They have no rights. They don't have any rights. They don't have the right to their own body. Imagine that. Imagine not having the right to your own body. That's the one thing that they need that would change everything. Like the actual right to their own body, that nobody else can take that from them. But yet we do it. Over 90 billion land animals each year are slaughtered and killed for food. That's ridiculous. That is, if you understood how many that is, it's mind-boggling. It absolutely is mind-boggling. If you ever go to kill count, there's like kill count, animal kill count, and like every second, you know, thousands, like, and then by the time like a minute has gone by, like millions of animals have like been slaughtered for food. I mean, it's nonstop. Every second of the day, animals are getting slaughtered for food. So, you know, like, do you want to contribute to that, or don't you want to contribute to that? So to me, you know, the answer is easy. Justice, is it just us? Just us Clartex. Okay, and again, I want to have a conversation with him and understand his responses a little further. But, you know, he talks about the methods, of course, and the methods of killing animals. You know, there are cruel ways to kill and there are less cruel ways to kill. I prefer less cruel ways. And so right then and there, if he prefers the less cruel way, like there's some sort of morals there, right? There's morals to know that we don't want to kill animals in a cruel way, or as less a cruel way as possible, right? But the absolute cruelest way, or the absolute like non-cruelest way to kill an animal, is to not kill an animal at all. And we get to make that decision. You get to make that decision multiple times a day. You get to make that decision, and you can start today. You can start with your next meal. You can start that at any point, at any time. Right? You just have to connect that. You have to understand that it's truly possible. I'm showing you that it's possible. We're over 9 years without eating any animals. There are so many other people out there. There's millions of people out there that have never eaten meat in their entire life. There are millions of people out there that have gone way further than us, have done it way longer than us. You know, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 70 years without eating animals. I mean, it was way harder back then, but it's super easy now. Now you have all the resources out there, and you have all the people out there that can help you along the way, right? You can make connections, you can ask questions. Before, you couldn't ask any questions. It's like, who lives around you, right? Back in the 30s and the 40s, super difficult. They're super difficult, but now super easy. All right, where does the value of life come from that tells you that it's so valuable to not kill animals, to use it as a resource? Again, the whole principle of veganism is to not use others or not exploit others for our gain. And we're doing it for food. It's because it's pleasure. It tastes good. You want a nice juicy burger? You want a nice juicy burger? So, and we're that 10 minutes of pleasure of eating that food, we're saying that that animal's life or the resource of the food is worth more than that animal's life. And that's just not true. Like the actual life of an animal is less important than the taste, than your taste buds. But you can choose to eat something that tastes just as good, if not better, and is different, and it's not affecting that animal's life. So the value of the life, the value of not killing that animal, it comes from knowing, and we can infer that we care about our life and what happens in our life matters to us. So we can infer that what happens in their life matters to them. And it's not about whether I like them or not, whether I care about them or not, but they care about what happens to them. And we're just saying that like we can just do whatever we want to them. We could just do whatever we want to them. So that's called, I mean, again, the definition of that is speciesism. That's saying that the human species can do whatever we want to other species because we are the most dominant species and we get to do whatever we want. As long as that species is not human, we can do whatever we want to them. And again, there's no like compassion there, there's no empathy. And even though there is, we're not understanding that, we're not looking at that, we're not talking more about that. And we should, because those animals, their lives matter to them, and we wouldn't want that done to us. So why are we doing it to others? All right. So, and nature does it all the time. We are not in nature. We are absolutely not in nature. And if we were, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I would be right alongside of you shooting animals and killing them in the most less cruel way as possible, hopefully a one-shot kill, and they feel no pain and suffering so that I can bring back their meat to my family and we can survive. But at first I'd look for plants. I'd see if I could find some plant-based foods for us first. And if we couldn't, then absolutely, I'd be right alongside of you. I'd share my meat with you. I'd share, I mean, like that's real. That's a real thing. But here's the deal. None of you watching this, none of you that come across this are in that situation. You're not hunting for survival. You're not out there killing animals so that your family can survive. You're doing it because it's a nice to have or it's a tradition for you, and you're going out hunting with your family, or your uncles did it and your dad did it, and then you have kids now, and so you just want to pass that along. But you're not doing it because it's necessary. You can say, oh, it's I don't have to spend money on meat, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary for you to do that. And again, that your want of your having your freezer there and some good venison steaks or stews, whatever you make with it, isn't more important than that animal's life. And it matters to them. It's not even if it's more important to you to have over their life, like not their life. If they wouldn't make that decision, they don't think that they would that your taste buds or having a freezer full of their body parts is more important than them living. They wouldn't make that decision. So we can infer that, and we know that. We know that by experiencing animals and observing animals and studying animals and provide doing surgery on animals and raising animals and taking care of animals in sanctuaries and observing animals in nature. Like we know that. We know what animals do in nature. I mean, and talk about cruel ways to kill. My wife showed me this video. Oh, connection not fast enough. That ain't good. But like these orca whales were like, I'm gonna say toying or they're trying to hunt a penguin like it was a cute penguin. And I mean, that is cruel. I mean, that is absolutely cruel in nature, but they're doing it because they have to survive. And they don't have a store to go to. They can't go shopping. They can't get anything delivered to them, right? They're doing it. They're absolutely predators. We are not. Humans are not predators, and we don't have to be. We absolutely don't have to be. Even in our backyard, there's this two bald eagles that either injured a goose, but the goose was out there and was kind of like stuck in the ice, and you know, it was cruel. I mean, you know, you don't want to see any animal die that way. I mean, it was cruel, but I mean, nature absolutely is cruel. I mean, it is like a tiger running down, or a leopard or a lion running down and killing their prey. I mean, it's cruel. You don't want to see it. You don't want to be a part of it if you don't have to be, and you don't have to be. And so you don't need to do that. All right. I think I stood on this one long enough, but again, appreciate you watching. Appreciate you guys commenting. Steve, looking forward to chatting with you again. Hope you have a great day. Hope I made some sense to you. Go out and do the research. All right, go out and do the research. Right, it can be done. You can be strong, fit, and healthy without eating any animals whatsoever. It's day 24. We got a long way to go, but we've done 7,200 reps so far. Tomorrow, I'm going to be out here Monday. Never miss a Monday. Day 25, we're going to be at 7,500 reps. All right, and hopefully it's going to be a little warmer. Oh, look, it's gone up. It's 21 degrees now. Let's see. That means outside must have gone up. Let's see. Oh, yeah. 11 degrees, baby. Feels like -3, though. All right, so that's cold. All right, enjoy the football today. Got some playoffs. Got some championships today. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Peace.